In the wide world of the WNBA playoffs, the Indiana Fever just faced one of the most chaotic, controversial, and heartbreaking battles of their season. A game where their head coach Steviana White exploded at the officials, where six of their top players were missing, and where fans left the arena wondering if the Fever had been beaten by the Atlanta Dream or by the referees. And with game 2 looming, Indiana now faces the ultimate question: can this broken, battered roster still survive long enough to fight another day? Stay tuned, because this is not just a game recap, this is a story of frustration, survival, and a fight against forces that felt bigger than basketball itself. It all started when Steviana White lost her cool. Her team was battling Crane, doing everything possible just to keep the game alive, but the Wizards, they weren't feeling heavily. After yet another call went against Indiana, White stomped down the sideline, shouting in fury. The referee did not hesitate, they slapped her with a technical foul. Fans watching at home did not just see a coach snapping under pressure, they saw a leader voicing what the entire Fever roster felt: that the game was being taken out of their hands. But was this just raw emotion, or was it the ugly truth? Because here is the reality: Indiana wasn't just playing the dream, they were playing the injury list. Six players were unavailable: Kathleen Clark, Sophie Cunningham, Kirsten Warris, Corson, Harry MC Donald, Shatori Walker, Bibi, and Damiris Downton. Think about that for a moment. That is not a lineup, that is an entire rotation gun. The Fever entered the playoffs like a puzzle, with missing places where Atlanta are just far forward parade. Yet, despite this, Indiana refused to wave the white flag. Every single injured player traveled with the team. The bench was so crowded, it looked like a reunion, not a game. And maybe that is what kept the team alive: the sense that even broken bones and sidelined stars could not fracture their unity. In fact, Sophie summed it up perfectly with one unforgettable joke. She told reporters she was basically part of the medical staff. Now, think about that. A fairy guard known for her scrapping, relentless play, reduced to joking about being a rehab assistant instead of a contributor. And yet, instead of dragging morally down, it somehow lifted the Fever. If Sophie could laugh in the middle of this nightmare, maybe they could still found a way to win. But make no mistake, no other player of team was dealing with the level of chaos. Against all odds, Indiana actually came out swinging. Kirsten Mitchell was locked in from the opening tip. Aliyah Burstyn was brilliant in the paint, and suddenly the Fever led 15-6. It looked like the impossible was about to become possible. For a few shining minutes, this wasn't about injuries, ref, or disadvantages. It was simply about basketball, and Indiana was winning it. But momentum is fragile, and that is when the Wizards started a pile up. First came Grace All Different. She contested perfectly, no contact with the Blurs foul. Then Aliyah Burstyn got shoved. No call. Next possession, she's whistled for an offensive foul just for trying to stand her ground. Kirsten's side had to burn a challenge early, and when she finally won one, it did not even matter. Atlanta kept playing more physical, and the refs let it slide. And the Fever, every bump, every handshake, every little contest seems to end with a whistle. Fans weren't marching Indiana vs Atlanta anymore. They were watching Indiana vs the officiating crew. It all boiled over. The Odyssey seemed hustled for a loose ball. She leaned forward and battled her way to the rim. Wizards again. Steviana White snapped, her face red, arms flying, voice echoing. She was done staying silent. And that is when Kathleen Clark, sitting injured on the bench, did something unforgettable. She stepped in, not as a star grunt, not as a scorer, but as a peacemaker, calming her, urging the Fever to keep their head. But the damage was already done. The Dream smelled blood. The ref had shifted momentum, and Indiana rhythms disappeared. Yet through it all, there were moments of brilliancy. Kirsten Mitchell scored 27 points, the highest play of total of her career. She attacked, she hit jumpers, she refused to let the game slip without resistance. Aliyah Burstyn battled foul trouble, but still ripped down 12 rebounds, echoing the paint with everything she had. Grace despite questionable calls against her, trained a critical three-painter and played her out out on the front, the team could not unfold. They could have seen too many injuries, too much unfairness. This is not a year, but they did not. Now comes the real test. Game 2 is not just another matchup. It is the first FIBA home playoffs game since 2016. A chance to turn Gain Bridgefield out into a fortress. But here is the coach. The 6 injured players, they are still missing. That means once again, Mitchell and Burston will carry the load. Once again, role players will be forced into starring roles. Once again, Indiana will stop into battle with one hand tied behind their back. But the difference this time, the crowd, the city, the history, if there was every moment for Indiana to defy logic, it is now. So here's the real question. Did Indiana lose because the Atlanta Dream were better? Or did they lose because the referees told the balance of power with questionable calls? For the FIBA Game 2 is about more than survivor. It's about pride. It's about rewriting the story of the season. It is about proving that no matter how many injuries, no matter how many whistles, and no matter how many obstacles, they are not done yet. What do you think? Were the FIBA robbed by the refs, or do the Dream simply deserve credit? Drop your thoughts in the comment section, because this debate is just getting started. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next chapter of this playoff drama. Because one thing is for sure, the Indiana Fever aren't going quietly.